Okay, I believe we need to start. We have 47 participants, so welcome to our session. And I want you to, let's make this as participative as possible. So kung nakoy mga questions, just feel free to write your answers through our chat box. But I have not felt the presence of Roland Caron. I'm not sure if you're online now, Roland. And also Kenny or Kulyo, I'm not sure if you're online. Edmar, thank you very much for joining. This is just for over 50 minutes, so hopefully you can stay with us. And everyone, hopefully you can stay with us to learn about the basic principles and the tenets of the English language. So I think we're all set. Philip, Andres, hello. Nice to see you. And to everyone, kay daghan kay tag mga participants karon, and we're counting actually. We have 47 participants. Kindly write your names in our chat box so we'd be able to know who are our participants for today. As what I've mentioned, for the benefit of those who missed or who just joined in, we are going to be issuing certificate of completion for this program. For part one is about this is EPP writing, so we'll talk about the principles, and then after this we may proceed with EPP speaking. Now for EPP speaking, we may be using another platform. I'm thinking of Google Meet. So we'll be sending you the link to that because we want to hear from you too. Dili po siguro ako ra tanan mag-story, ano? But that's during EPP speaking. But for EPP writing, it's okay if I'll do all the talking. Okay, so daghan kitang participants karon. Hi, Sir Roland, glad that you're able to make it. Shout out to our Balugo teachers out there. Sir Ben Mark, nice to see you. Yael, good evening sa imuha, sir. Sharon Lumingkit, Flores, and then si Margie Rahiol. And then we have Nicolasa, Gadri, and Sir Roland. Thank you very much for ensuring that you participate in today's session. And I'm happy to inform everyone that our class is getting bigger and bigger. And right now we have 54 participants. And before we care to start, kindly ensure that you share this video para we can reach out to more. Especially katong naa sa hinterlands na itong mga igsuon nga who are deprived of the English experience, para at least we can reach out to them, no? With the advent of technology now, learning should be as easy as ABC. But all it takes is everyone's effort to reach out to them. This is our little way of helping our brothers and sisters, especially those who want to be part of the BPO industry. Ako personally, I've been with a BPO for over 10 years. And so far, I really love the culture in the BPO industry. It's very competitive, dynamic, and you really have to excel. And that's a culture that I want to embrace and I want to pass on. No? So dapat competitive ta, dili pwede nang relax lang. And one way of being competitive is for you to have a good command in the English language. So dapat kabalutan ng English. And first off, allow me to share with you. So I did a little research and I came up with these reasons why we have to learn English. So there are actually many reasons why learning a new language is a good idea. And for one, it allows us to communicate with a lot of people. If you've done traveling, I really love traveling. So unfortunately, we had to put off our travel this year. But supposedly, February and May, I should have been visiting China. But due to what happened because of this pandemic, so we had to put it off. But again, if you've traveled to another country, you are going to be communicating in the English language. When you go to Vietnam, for example, you don't use Spanish, you don't use Chinese, but you use English to communicate. Although it's a challenge there too for the locals to communicate in the English language. But for tourists, you communicate in the English language. So it allows you to communicate, especially with new people. It also helps you to see things from a different perspective or get a deeper understanding of another culture. And it helps you to become a better listener, and it even has health benefits. According to studies, they have shown that people who speak two or more languages have more active minds later in life. So kung ganahan ka active life, then you have to learn 2 or more languages. But again, unfortunately, I only know a few languages now. English. I mean, I'm learning Spanish, little by little. Korean language, little by little. So we'll get there. But first off, you have to learn the English language. So if you want to have, I mean, you have to speak 2 or more languages to have active minds later in life. And in addition to what I've said, I also have 5 big reasons, that's 5, why we have to learn English and how learning English can improve your life. Okay, number 1, English, according to my source, is the official language of no less than 53 countries. So you'd be surprised that 400 million, so that's 400 million people around the world speak English as their first language. And not only that, but English is listed as one of the official languages in more than a quarter of the countries in the world. That's a lot of new people you can communicate with just by improving one language. So that's 1, it is the official language of no less than 53 countries. Secondly, it's the most widely spoken language in the world. And what's more, English is the rest of the world's second language, just like in our country. While Chinese, Mandarin, and Spanish are the mother tongues of more people overall, most people in the world choose to learn some English after their native language. In fact, 1 in 5 people on the planet speak and understand at least a little bit of English. And this makes English one of the most useful languages you can learn. After all, you can't learn all 6,500 languages in the world. You'd be surprised that there are actually more than 6,500 languages in the world. But at least you will be able to communicate with people from all different countries using the English language. So that's number 2. It's the most widely spoken language in the world. Number 3 is I think I've highlighted this in the previous session. It can help you get a better job because your command in the English language can be your competitive advantage, or it can be your edge over the others. Companies are becoming more international, and English is listed as an essential skill for more and more jobs. As a matter of fact, after you've completed this session, you can even put it in your resume that you are proficient in terms of communicating in the English language. And there are some organizations that are now conducting all their businesses in the English language, no matter where they are based in. So if you have the best paid opportunities, learning English is a great idea. So that's number 3. It can help you get a better job. As what I've mentioned, we can coin it to being your competitive advantage. So in the future, pag daghan kayo mo mga apply for the next position, you're a teacher 1 now, you want to apply for T2 or T3, or you are an agent now, you want to apply for a TL, or you're a TL now, you want to apply for a managerial position, then you will go through a series of interviews, and you have to impress the people who will be judging you. No? So you have to, and the best way of impressing them is through your amazing and spectacular comm skill. Amazing comm skill. Number 4, it makes it easier to travel. Just like me, I love traveling. So it's best if you know how to communicate in the English language. And lastly, it's the language of the media. So whether we like it or we like it, English is the official language of business communication. So most of the content on the internet, just like what we're doing right now, when you're typing, I mean, most often than not, you see your friends, kasi nagkatuiris ng ilahang mga English, mali-mali, but they're trying. I mean, it's just a good practice, no? So most of the content on the internet, including Facebook or TikTok or Instagram, most of their contents are written in the English language. And many of the world's biggest news outlets right now, including GMA News or ABS-CBN, TV, newspapers, magazines, and radio, they are produced in English. And some of your favorite films and pop music are probably English language. Hello to the the fighters and the little dreamers out there. So, so if you go to any international film festival in the world and you see that all the films are either in English or have English subtitles, when you're watching K-drama on Netflix, you have to have that subtitle there in English, right? So challenging kayo if you don't know how to communicate in the English language. So again, it's the language of the media. So English is the international language of media and arts, and so if you want to access as much possible for yourself without relying on translations, it's the most powerful language you can learn today. Okay, so those are the reasons why we have to study the English language. It's the official language of of no less than 53 countries. It's the most widely spoken language in the world. It can help you get a better job, especially now that in the BPO industry we are aggressively ramping up. As a matter of fact, let me take this opportunity to inform you all that Inspiro as well as Infocom are in need of some agents to support our local and international account. We do have local accounts, but we also have opportunities for international accounts. So again, it can help you get a better job if you know how to communicate in the English language. And then number 4, it makes it easier to travel. And lastly, it's the language of the media. So I did a little research about that. So thank you to my reference, Eurocenters.com, for putting all those together. Any questions so far? And right now we have over 40 participants. I just want to say hi first to Tomasita Macias. Thank you very much for being with us. Kenneth. Gretz, nice to see you joining. And Rita Peeps, I miss you so much. I miss you the good old days. Any questions before we care to start our discussion today? So if you can vividly recall, in the previous session, we talked about a lot of great things. No? We talked about modifying phrase. We talked about object of the preposition. We talked about poetic license. No? We talked about a lot of rules, no? SVA rules. So we will continue with our discussion for today as we continue the SVA, the subject-verb agreement. Pa-shoutout daw. So mag-shoutout sa ako. Brian Abueva, shoutout. Exufer Suan, hello po sir. And to everyone here, thank you very much. So we have over 40 participants for today who are very much willing to learn more about the English language. So without much further delay, we are going to continue now with the SVA discussion or the subject-verb agreement. In the previous session, we already talked about the parts of a sentence, right? Subject and the predicate. So a subject is a noun or a pronoun that performs the verb. And on the other hand, predicate is a verb, and a verb is a word that shows action or state of being. So an example is, or the example we had in the previous session was, he ran around the block. He is our subject because he is the doer. Again, a subject is a noun or a pronoun. So he is our subject. And then ran around the block. So ran is a verb and ran is our predicate. Another example we had was when I said, you are my song. Kay love is in the air tonight. Kaway-kaway sa mga na-I love life diha. Mapapasana all na lang kami. Just kidding. But when you say you are my song, you is a doer, you are, or you is the subject, and are is the state of being. So you is a subject, the predicate is are. Any questions? I think we already talked about this in the previous session, so we'll continue with the SVA rules. Who amongst you here are familiar with infinitive phrase? Because this is a very I had to stress this out because this is a very common error that I come across on Facebook. Daghan kang error aning infinitive phrase. Are you familiar with this? Infinitive. I'm gonna type it. There. Have you encountered infinitive phrase? Without taking a look at the net right now, so whatever you know about it, kindly share with us what is infinitive phrase. So common kay nga error and you have to know this. Actually, ang mga common kay mga errors include kanagaling ka nga one of the many, right? I'm one of the agent. That's so wrong because you are one of the many, right? So you're one of the agents. Or when you say I'm one of the teacher, wrong. You're one of the teachers. So meaning, you're just one of the many teachers. So common kay na siya nga mga error. Dayong, kani pong infinitive phrase, the common po ni kayo nga error. And you have to know this. Na yung mga yung skin. O niya na ng ML, ha? So common nga error ni siya. So you have to know this. Okay? When I say infinitive phrase, kato ni siyang a verb preceded by to. Okay? Again, this is a verb preceded by to. So, I'll give you an example. When I say, or I'll state the rule first. When I so this rule in SVA in conjunction to infinitive phrase states that if a verb follows to, it is called an infinitive phrase, and therefore that is not the main verb. You will find the main verb either before or after the infinitive phrase. I'll give you an example for it to make perfect sense. And I'm gonna type it. Thank you kayo sa akong mga teachers sa una kay paspas na kay ko mag-type karon. When I say I like to walk, okay? To walk there or walk is part of the infinitive phrase that is preceded by to, no? And this SVA rules that states that if the verb follows to, it is called an infinitive phrase. So therefore, to walk is an infinitive phrase, and therefore, to or walk is not our main verb. You will find the main verb either before or after the infinitive phrase. Now in our example, had we not known this rule, probably makaingunta nga atong main verb is walk, but that is wrong because walk is part of the infinitive phrase, so therefore that is not our main verb. Our main verb is seen before the infinitive phrase. On our example, our main verb here is like. Okay? Dili siya walk ang atong main verb because walk is part of the infinitive phrase. Okay? I'm not sure if you've ever encountered infinitive phrase in the past, but this is very common. Basta kay mag-to na gali na siya kung binisaon para intensa, basta kay mag-to, dili na siya nimo i-past form ang verb. You're not gonna say, I like to walk with ed. That's so wrong. Okay? Ningon si Celine Dion, let me be the one to love you more. Dili kami yun nga, let me be the one to loved you more. That's so wrong. Okay? So in my example, I like to walk. Like is our main verb. And then to walk is an infinitive phrase. Okay? I'll give you another example for it to make perfect sense. Mag-type na po ko. In my example, the efforts to get her elected succeeded. Okay. Ang atong infinitive phrase diha, obviously, the verb following to. So, to get. So, therefore, ato na siyang i-exclude ang get as the main verb. Whereas, ang challenge is for us to find the main verb. So, to get is an infinitive phrase. So, therefore, get cannot be our main verb. So, where is our main verb there? Where is the verb there? Our main verb in this example cannot be efforts. We're talking about the efforts, but that's not the verb that we're looking for. That's not a verb, just to clarify that. So the efforts, so that is the subject now. We are talking about the efforts. Okay, that's not the verb. Our verb there is efforts is not the main verb, Gadri, but the main verb there in our example is elected. As what I've mentioned, the main verb can be seen before or after the infinitive phrase. Again, it can be seen before or after the infinitive phrase. Ang atong example first, ganina, I like to walk, that's the main verb can be seen before the infinitive phrase. But in our second example, the efforts to get her elected succeeded, our main verb there is seen after the infinitive phrase, and that is elected. Okay. Alright, so at least today, kabalo na ta what is an infinitive phrase, no? Okay, let's move on. So at least karon kabulotag infinitive phrase na kung part na ganyan siyang infinitive phrase, dili na siya main verb. Ang infinitive phrase, ang atong verb ana has to be in a present form. You're not gonna say to met, to danced, to basta kay naay to before the verb, our verb has to be in the present form. Are we clear? I'm not gonna say I like to walk. That's so wrong. I'm not gonna say the efforts to get to got her elected. That's so wrong. Okay? When you use to before a verb, our verb has to be in the present form. I have a question though. So we're good with infinitive phrase, okay? If you have some questions, you can just PM me about infinitive phrase, and I'd be more than happy to clarify ambiguities for you. But I have a question. Hi, Ma'am Sue. I think Ma'am Sue is very supportive of us since time immemorial. So thank you very much, Ma'am Sue. And Dennis, thank you very much. Sir McCoy, thank you for joining. I miss Kenoy. Asa ka Miss Kenoy or Kolyo? I have a question for everyone. Just type yes or no, ha? Earlier, we talked about the two parts of a sentence, no? The subject and the predicate, correct? For it to be a perfect or a complete sentence, a sentence has to have the subject and the predicate. Now, my question is, if I say listen, okay? According to Beyonce, you have to listen. Listen to your heart sa mga in love karon. But sa mga loveless, listen to your mind. So when Beyonce said listen, is that a complete sentence? Type yes if you think it is, or type no if you think it's not a complete sentence. Type away, N-O or Y-E-S. Grabe, dugay kay makatype sa yes or no or gahuna-huna pa. Si Godfrey said yes. Okay? Yes. Si Dennis and siya yes. So again, ang akong gingon, listen raha, listen. Is that a complete sentence? Or when I say stop, is that a complete sentence? Yung nga Spice Girls, stop, di ba? Stop. Si Bench, ningon nga no. Then yes, we have a lot who said it's yes, no? Okay, McCoy said no. Gretel said yes. Mamsu said yes. Si Lord Jen said yes. Galibog daw sila. Okay, allow me to help you realize and understand about the next rule. Now, this rule, yung si Lord Jen, no. Okay, daghan pong no, daghan pong yes. McCoy said yes, I'm certain. Okay, sige. Alright, the next rule states that any request or command such as stop, or listen, or look, stop, look, listen, or walk quickly, it has the understood subject you. Because if we ask who is to stop, or walk quickly, or to listen, the answer must be you. So for example, pag mayroon ko listen, it has the understood subject you. So you listen, you stop, you walk quickly, or you bring me some coffee. Diba? So when you say, please bring me coffee, so that it has the understood subject you. So that is a complete sentence because the subject is you, and then we also have a verb, right? Listen. So again, just to stress this out, any request, when you are requesting something, or when you're commanding something, such as stop, look, listen, and walk quickly, it has the understood subject you, because if we ask you, or if you ask who is to stop or walk quickly, the answer must be you. Alright? So again, please bring me some coffee. That means you please bring me some coffee. You listen, that means you listen. Okay? So that is a complete sentence. That is correct, Bench. Sentence is a word or group of words that express a complete thought and meaning. That is correct. And then when I say listen, it conveys a complete thought and a complete meaning. That means you have to listen to me. So that is a sentence. Because again, any command or request will have an understood subject, you. Is that clear? You learned something today? Hi, Majoy! Alright, sige. Actually, it's very timely nga na silang Miss Gretel today, si Denny, si Ma'am Sue, because we are now accepting sponsors. So probably in our next meeting, magkuantan mga itag sponsorship nila, no? Maybe they're gonna sponsor mga giveaways and tokens. Are we cool with that, kuan? Ma'am Sue, Gretel, Dennis, and folks, di ba? So we'll be reaching out to them para na po tayo kalinawan, no? Something we can look forward and we can win for participating. Oh yes daw, ningon si kuan. Ningon si Gretel, lami. So that's an affirmation. Sige, basta bisag mga free loads, mga giveaways, Inspiro and Infocom tokens. So we'll be giving out some tokens para mas sad siya. Diba? So para mas fun ang atong environment. Alright, let's move on. So far we've discussed 2 rules. Rule number 1 is about infinitive phrase. Rule number 2 tonight is about command or requests. Any questions so far? I think we were able to discuss that clearly, no? But again, if you have some questions, feel free to message me. I'm just a message away. After all, hangad ko ang tagumpay niyo. So, dili pwedeng nga magsigurag yes, even if you are perplexed and confused. Alright, let's move on to rule number 3. Any questions before magpa-raffles ka usap magsugod, sir? Yes. Ningon nas Gretel, mag-sponsor daw sila. Yes, Jerry, of course. Dapat mas fun, no? So that we'll be giving away a lot of tokens. Kaya dagan kita mga generous people who, para at least, di ba, it's gonna be a win-win situation for us, di ba? You get to attend and you get to learn something, but at the same time, you may have a slim chance of winning mga tokens and giveaways every session. O, di ba, Ma'am Su, yes, you have my support. Very supportive, gining mo ang site director sa Inspiro and Infocom. Thank you. Kamsahamnida, Ma'am Su, as always. And Gretel, thank you for confirming. Si Dennis na lang ang wala. Alright, let's move on to another rule. So, at least not the infinitive phrase karon, any command or request. Number 3. Rule number 3 for tonight. To find the subject and the verb, you always have... Oh, sorry. Let me go back. I think we were able to discuss that one in the previous session. Okay, rule number 3 states that a subject will come before a phrase beginning with of. I believe we have already talked about this in the previous session, but for the benefit of those who just joined today, again, just to stress this out, a subject will come before a phrase beginning with of. So when I say a bouquet of yellow roses, I think we talked about modifying phrase, we talked about object of the preposition. So if you want to know more about those terminologies, you have to go to my YouTube channel. Akong i-upload ang previous discussion para you can also review because we talked about modifying phrase and object of the preposition in the previous session. But just to reiterate that a subject will come before a phrase beginning with of. So a bouquet of yellow roses lends color and fragrance to the room. So we're not talking about the yellow roses, but we're talking about a bouquet. And a bouquet is singular with an article. Don't worry guys, we'll also talk about articles, we'll talk about parallelism, so we'll know more about the English language. But again, a bouquet of yellow roses, kung di ta kabaluan nga rule, probably we'll use the plural form of the verb, no? But again, our main subject here is a bouquet, which is singular, so we have to use singular form of the verb. So therefore, lends is the right verb to use. Singular form. Lends color and fragrance to the room. I think we have discussed about this in the previous session. So if you want to know more about modifying phrase and object of the preposition, then you can watch our previous session in my YouTube channel. Jerol Sibala. That's the #1 YouTube channel right now in Dumaguete. So again, plugs ako, advertise ako, please like my YouTube channel. Alright, let's move on. Rule number 4. There are some sentences, or some sentences often have more than one subject more than one verb, or pairs of subjects and verb. I'll give you an example. When I say I like cake and he likes ice cream, I'm gonna type it. I'm gonna put it here. Okay, Lermsky asked for more example of command or request. Common ani Lermsky is when you're asked, when you start your statement with please. You say, please buy me coffee. So ang atong subject, please buy me coffee. So buy is that is a command, or a request rather. So ang atong subject ana you please buy me coffee. Ang atong subject verb ana is buy. Hello, Gail. I missed you so much. So going back to my example, I like cake and he likes ice cream. So we have two subjects in that particular sentence. One is I and the other is he. And the second, and then we also have two verbs, like and likes. And then there are sentences also that will contain two subjects and one verb, right? In this example, he and I like cake. He and I, so we have two subjects, and then with one verb, okay? Like. And always remember that when we're using and we discussed this in the previous session, but when we're using and, your verb has to be in a plural form. And then another example, when I say she lifts weights and jogs daily. Okay, she lifts weights and jogs daily. So in this example, we have, hold on. So we have one subject, and our subject is she, because she is the doer. And then we have two verbs, lifts and jogs. So again, we have singular subject, so our verb has to be in a singular form. You cannot say she lifts weights and jog daily. That's so wrong, because our verb has to agree with the subject. No? So she is singular, so our verb always has to, this is parallelism, no? Parallelism, lifts and jogs. Okay? Singular dapat. You cannot use singular and plural in the same, you cannot, how do you say that in English? You cannot say it in one breath. Lifts and jog, singular and plural. So that's so wrong. So if you're using, if your subject is singular, your verb always has to be singular all throughout. All right. Questions, comments, or suggestions? So nakalisod-lisod na ta. But I hope you're still willing to learn. No? It's kind of confusing, but I hope na clarify, no? Clear lang ang atong discussion today. Any questions so far with the rules? Alright, if you don't have questions, I don't think you have questions, we'll move on to another rule. Ito yung pang-highlight ng mga common errors na makita na to sa Facebook. Ako personally, I'm very meticulous to that. Because of my experiences back in the day, editing some articles in the school publication, so nadala siya. And dapat meticulous ta in terms of mga errors, grammar errors. So, another rule states that pronouns, so again, as what I've mentioned, don't worry, we'll discuss more about the parts of speech. So, dapat after the session, maayo na kaita. But pronouns like each, everyone, everyone, everybody. So don't worry, we'll discuss also everyone, now one word, and then everyone, two words. So we'll get to know more about that. Everybody, anyone, anybody, someone, and somebody, those are pronouns. And those will take those are what we consider singular pronouns, and they will require singular verbs. Okay, so do not be misled by what follows off. Example, when I say each of the production officers, I'll give you an example. Each of the production officers, nagkalisod-lisod na sa, but kaya ni, fighting, di ba? Fighting. So when I say each of the production officers sings well, So again, do not be misled by what follows off. Do not be misled by the modifying phrase or the object of the preposition. You just ignore that because our main subject here, or our subject is each, right? Each meaning individually. So each is singular, so we use singular form of the verb. And so therefore, our verb is in a singular form. Therefore, it sings instead of sing. So kung wala takabaloan nga rule, probably mo kung each of the production officers sing well. That's so wrong because we're talking about them individually, each one of them sings well. Okay? I'll give you another example. Every one of the pizza or every one of the pizza slices is gone. So everyone, that's also singular, so that will take singular form of the verb. So therefore, we use are. So kung wala takabaloan nga rule, kung every one of the pizza slices are gone. So that's so wrong because again, ignore the object of the preposition. Okay? That is when we're talking about singular pronouns. Pero there's an exception to that rule. When do we consider the object of the preposition? And please do watch out for that because that's gonna be part of another rule which we will be discussing in few days from now. Nagkalisod na. Pero kaya rin siya. It's all about mindset. Okay? So kaya. But consider that the pronouns such as each, everyone, everybody, anybody, somebody, someone, and somebody, they are considered singular and they will require singular form of the verb. So never ever be misled by what follows of. Okay. Questions? Guilty. Ako po dosahay. I mean, I don't mean to say that I'm perfect in terms of the English language. I also have a lot of lapses, a lot of errors. Pero again, I'm still working on my masterpiece. So, and I'm thankful sa akong mga previous teachers who taught me the right way. So, maayo kayo akong mga teachers before and mga trainers sa English trainers. And here in Inspiro and Infocom, we have the best trainers. Daghan kita mga maayo nga trainers here who really have the heart to help. Alright, so let's move on to another rule. Let's talk about portions. Portions, common kayo nga mga errors. So muna akong gipang-una sila. Gipang-una yun ako nga mga rules to stress out that there are a lot of errors nga makita na ko sa Facebook in relation to kaning mga rules nga akong i-discuss karon. Okay? Example, so when we talk about portions, like when we say percent, fraction, part, majority, sum of the, diba? All of the, none, remainder, and so forth. What you need to do this time is to look at the noun in your of phrase. Remember when I said we ignore the object of the preposition? Yung ganina nga, each of the production officers sings well. So what we did was to ignore the object of the preposition. Pero if we're talking about portions, like percent, fraction, part, majority, sum, all, none, remainder, and so forth, we have to consider the object of the preposition. So muna siya exception to the rule. Kung magstoryahan ay ganitag portion, we look at the object of the preposition. Other than that, we ignore the object of the preposition. So this time, since we're talking about portion, we look at the object of the preposition to identify whether we're going to use singular or plural form of the verb. If the object of the preposition is singular, then we have to use singular verb. If the object of the preposition is plural, then we have to use plural form of the verb. So muna exception to the rule kanina. Okay, I've been telling you that you have to ignore the object of the preposition except if we're talking about portions. Majority, all of the, diba? So we have to consider. Now for it to make perfect sense, I'll give you some examples. When I say all of the pie, of course, Jerry, I agree with you. Mommy X and Audie, mga maayo kayo. So shout out to the two of them. And it's best that we commend them for the stellar performance. So kudos to Mommy X and Audie for their heart and dedication. Okay, no matter how good you are, but if you're not committed to what you're doing, it's as good as nothing. But I've seen commitment from the two of them. Not because they're my friends, ha, but because I've seen their resilience. Kuan gini sila kayo, very dedicated to what they're doing. So going back to my example, all of the pie is gone. We're talking about fraction, ha? So all of the pie, so we look at the object of the preposition. Pie is the object of the preposition, so we use singular form of the verb. Now, if we're gonna say all of the pies, pies is now the object of the preposition that's plural, so we use the plural form of the verb. So we use are gone. Another example, if I say 1/3 of the city is unemployed, 1/3 of the city is unemployed. Common kini nga error mo kung 1/3 of the city. So kung magkunauna gid ka, if you're being literal, that's more than one. So we should have been using plural form of the verb. Pero yes, Joseph. Kasi kung si Irene ba ni? Kasi si Clark Absin. Okay, Irene, ikaw na, I know it's you. So, if I say 1/3 of the city, so kung una-una to, if we're being literal, that's 1/3 of the city, that's more than one person. So we should have been using plural form. But because of this rule of fraction, that we have to look at the object of the preposition. So, the object of the preposition in this example is city, which is singular. So we have to use the singular form of the verb. So when we say 1/3 of the city is unemployed. Okay? Now how do we use plural form of the verb? 1/3 of the people, that's plural. So we use plural form of the verb. 1/3 of the people are unemployed. Or I'll give you another example for it to make perfect sense. Some of the pie, some this time, so kanina 1/3 fraction, all. This time we'll talk about we talk about some of the pie is missing. Some of the pies are missing. Okay? So again, just to stress this out, most often than not, we ignore the object of the preposition, except if we're talking about portions. And some of the examples in terms of portions include percent, fraction. Yung ka nga, 80% of the employees are. Diba? Okay, we're talking about the object of the preposition is employees. Okay, we're talking about percent, fraction, part, majority, some, all, none, remainder, and so forth. Those are examples of portions. So when we talk about portions, we look at the object of the preposition. Ay, nagkalisod-lisod naman karon pero kaya. Fighting. Diba? Any questions with this particular rule? Before we move on to adverbs. But don't worry, we'll have a separate discussion about the parts of speech para mas makabaluta. But these are basic rules that we're talking about right now. Then once we're done with the rules, we'll continue with the parts of speech, and then we'll talk about the other things that you need to know, including parallelism, articles, and a lot more. Okay, so far I think we have very attentive learners today. As a matter of fact, karon, I think as of press time, we have over 70 participants, 78 ni siya. And as what I've mentioned, we are closely monitoring participation and attendance. So please, mga guwapa, mga guwapo, write your names in our chat box ha, para we can track your participations. Para makabalo mi, who are we gonna issue the certificate of completion to? Okay? Okay, let's move on. One more rule, and then we'll cap the session today, and then we'll continue our session on Friday. So it happens every Monday and Friday lang. Dapat magbabayad noong takusa. Just kidding. But this is our way of helping everyone. This is our way of, this is paying it forward. I really like it. I love paying it forward. And after all, that's what our company is known for. Mag-plug sa ako. In Inspiro and Infocom, we have CSR Day or Corporate Social Responsibility Day. And that is our way of paying it forward through helping the community at large. So there can be initiatives in place to support the community and the people in totality. Same time to Sir Godry, 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. 1 hour lang good, para it's not too much to ask. And please mark your calendar ha, every Monday and Friday at tag 1 hour bitaw ni, and you don't have to pay anything. And if you have kids na may mga anak, you can let them listen for free ra bitaw ni, sure, you're not paying anything. Okay? Now let's move on to one more rule before we cap the session today. Let's talk about sums of money or periods of time. Okay? We're talking about sums of money like 20 pesos, 30 pesos, $1. Nga na ha? So this is very common as well. Kung di ka kabaloan nga rule, probably matola jud ka. You'll get lost. But this particular rule states, dili ni siya Monday to Friday ha. This is only Monday and Friday. Yes. Jerry, I agree with you. Inspiro is my second home too. Wow, 5 years. Congratulations. Congratulations. Daghan kitang mga kuan, daghan na kayong mga tenured. And I've been with the company for over 7 years na. And I love my company. This particular rule states that we have to use singular verb with sums of money or periods of time. Ha? If we're talking about sums of money or periods of time, we have to use singular verb. I'll give you an example. If I say, kung naanta ni bayad ning kuan, free training, kining training nato karon for 1,000. And then you will say, 1,000 is a high price to pay. You're not gonna say if we're being literal ha, 1,000 is more than 1. So dapat plural. I should have been using plural form of the verb. But this rule states that you have to use singular verb with sums of money or periods of time. So we use is. So 1,000 is a high price to pay. Okay? Another example. What about if we have some deliverables and the TAT is 24 hours? So 24 hours, and that is period of time. So again, for periods of time, we use singular form of the verb. So 24 hours is the maximum TAT. TAT is turnaround time. Ha? It's the maximum TAT for a request. So we use, di ba, hours siya, hours. So probably kung wala ta kabalo ning rule, so you should have been using plural form because hours is plural. So we have to use plural form of the verb, but that's not the case. Because this is an exception to the rule, we have to use singular verbs for sums of money or periods of time. So 24 hours is the maximum TAT for the request. Questions, comments, and suggestions. And just so you know, I will be uploading this once again to my YouTube channel para you can review, you can watch, you can share this also. Pretty please, kindly share to your friends. Kaya daghan, I know for a fact nga daghan kayong willing to work in the BPO industry, except that they are deprived with the opportunity because of their poor communication skills. So that's the harsh gamut of reality. But again, you can help them, you can save them by simply sharing this video. So again, I'll be uploading this once again to my YouTube channel for everyone to recap and to review. So just look for my name on YouTube, Jerowell. Actually, before I joined BPO, it used to be Jerowell. But as I started working in the BPO industry, it has evolved and now I'm known as Jerol. Inarte ra good, inarte ang Jerol. But again, we have a very good number of participants today. We have 84 as of the moment. So any questions so far? Maisel said, thank you so much, sir, for sharing your knowledge. I'm learning now. Fave parts of speech. Don't worry, again, as what I mentioned, parts of speech is gonna be part of our discussion. So that's in the pipeline. Akong cousin, si Ma'am Fe, si Balasinko. Hello, thank you, ma'am, for participating again. I can recall you participated last time, so thank you very much. I'm not sure if if those who are part of batch 1 na apa ba ni sila Sir Roland, si Sir Ken, wala ko ka-feel niya. Yeah, Ma'am Gretz, thank you very much. So let's call it a wrap. Before we end the session today, just want to inform everyone that we are in need of some agents here in Inspiro and Infocom. So if you, but of course, before you apply, you need to make sure that you have good comm skills para we can profile you for an agent position. But I hope that you are patient enough to continue this session para we can ensure a slot for you here in Infocom and in Spiro. And this is our little way again of paying it forward because our previous trainers, teachers, and mentors were very patient to us, and now we are doing it for you because we want to create that difference through our little effort, di ba? Saan eh? Individually, we cannot do anything, but if we're working all together with our little efforts, it can really make a big difference. So thank you very much everyone for attentively listening. I hope that today is a day filled with realization. I-recap sa nato, we talked about, we highlighted modifying phrase, object of the preposition, commands, requests, periods of time. We covered a lot today. So I'm learning as well, and that's what I love most about my job. It's the opportunity to inspire others, and I also got inspired through the stories of other people. So, okay. Sir, can you give an example sa word na response and respond? Okay. Sige, don't worry. As what I've mentioned, I think there was one who suggested that yesterday, last meeting, no? Regards, to words, response, respond, advice. Ano siya mga common. But we'll talk about that in some other sessions. Dili ta pwedeng maghalo-halo karon, no? Focus at sa atong mga discussions today. But that's part of the plan. Okay, daghan na kayong mga apply, Ma'am Sue. We're very excited. So thank you very much. And we hope to see you working in the BPO industry because it's really fun in the BPO. It's really fun. Jerry can attest to that. Yes, and those who are working in the BPO industry. As a matter of fact, allow me to congratulate everyone, especially those who are working in the BPO industry, because you are the phenomenal contributors to our economy right now. Kay grabe ang economy karon, it's really affected with this pandemic, and what's keeping our economy afloat, it's because of the BPO industry. So ang BPO has really helped our economy through by battling unemployment rate. So before wala pa ning mga BPO, but now this is one of the major contributors to the gross to the GNP GDP of the country. So thank you and kudos to all agents who are on board today. Thank you for your commitment and for your dedication. And you are heroes in the making. You have helped our economy. Same with our unsung heroes, kanyang mga OFWs. They have helped our economy. So take pride being part of the BPO industry. All right, Ma'am Ina, thank you very much. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for staying with me. Nilapaw taw 3 minutes. But I hope that today is a worthwhile and a rewarding day for everyone, filled with a lot of realizations. So again, this is Jerol, your English coach, your English teacher. And I look forward to see you all. And again, please, if just two reminders rather. One is share this video para we can reach out to more people, because I think a lot of your friends on Facebook really need this kind of training. And number two, kindly also subscribe to my YouTube channel para you can share this to everyone, no? So just search in YouTube Jerol Sibala. Dali ra kayo ng pangitawan. So thank you once again and enjoy the rest of the day. Good evening, everyone. Kamsahamnida.